This is a map of how white and/or privileged families interact with school segregation across America. This map is what Integrated Schools is confident will be our best hope for integrated and equitable schools for all kids. But let's begin where it all begins. At the playgrounds and birthday parties, in our preschools, parent groups, and social circles, when it comes to enrolling our white and/or privileged kids in schools that serve mostly Black and brown students, this is the smog we breathe.
I am being a good parent by getting the best for my
I'm
kid.
concerned about safety.
I don't want my kid to be bored.
The test scores are just too low.
Maybe in elementary, but middle and high school are so
Nobody
scary.
I know goes to those schools.
I want my child to have academic peers.
It's just not a good fit for us.
I want a school where parents care about education.
I'm worried about behavior
My
problems.
kid can't be a guinea
I just
pig.
really hate uniforms.
I just really want to be in a school with uniforms.
But some of us white and/or privileged families are contemplating school integration. And we're usually thinking about this because
I am thinking a lot about race and equity and how my parenting choices matter.
I went to an integrated school and I want the same for my kid.
When I see the inequities in our district firsthand.
though often and dangerously, we might be thinking,
I live in a gentrifying and diverse community, and I want to support our local school.
I found a total hidden gem.
We just enrolled here, and we are the only white privileged family.
as we consider our integration and our choices, our next step is to investigate schools serving a disproportionately high percentage of Black and brown students and/or students growing up in poverty. And as we check out these schools, of course it would be great to hear.
I can imagine my kid at this school.
The next step is to desegregate. Desegregation, different from actual meaningful integration, means enrolling our kids in integrating schools.
I want to live my values.
I am not curing racism or solving segregation, but I sure don't want to contribute to them.
I understand that my kid may be the only white kid in his class, and I'm okay with that.
I know that with the cushion of whiteness and privilege that my kids will be fine wherever they go to school.
But desegregation is only the first step. The real work comes in being part of meaningful integration, showing up without supporting white supremacy culture. White supremacy is complicated, but speaks to the many ways that people intentionally or unintentionally support and promote ideas that further privilege white people.
I listen, and I listen hard. I listen before I speak.
I am humble.
I strive to be a respectful member of the school community.
I recognize that families and staff were here long before I arrived.
I build relationships. More important than fundraising and getting things done, relationships matter most.
I recognize that impact matters more than intent.
I recognize that impact
I
matters more
recognize
than
that
intent.
impact matters more than intent.
I will make mistakes.
I check my own impulses to hoard resources.
In partnership, I work toward justice for all students and families on campus, not just what is good for my child.
And when parents have really worked for meaningful integration, we find that it's then, with skin in the game, that white and/or privileged parents can really do the work of advocacy.
I advocate for hiring teachers of color.
I will watch for white-centering behaviors and work to counteract
I
them.
push against biases.
I support culturally responsive and affirming curriculum.
I speak up for integration, equity, and justice.
I encourage other white privileged parents to enroll their children in integrating schools, not just my kid's school.
I vote for brave policymakers.
I counter the noise of those who see to protect the concentration of privilege.
I loudly support and push for equitable policies.
Building a loud and committed constituency, legislators and school board members will have the support and feel the pressure to set brave policy for school integration. But we know that things don't always work this nicely. Instead, as we contemplate sending our kids to global majority schools, we hear,
The school is just not a good fit for our family.
or we hear sentiments that can have problematic consequences.
The school needs support, and I'm ready to help.
What a hidden gem.
And these most often lead to a kind of mobilization, a rallying of our white and/or privileged friends and neighbors to all enroll together.
I am hosting house parties.
If we all go together, we can really make a difference.
We just started a booster club.
Are you on our Facebook page?
I am creating a cohort so that we won't be the only one.
If we start now, when our kids are in preschool, we can fix the
Let's
school.
meet with the principal.
Now, rallying isn't always all bad. We must ask ourselves,
Are we thinking and talking deeply about what integration really means?
Are we taking direction from parents who already send their children to the school?
Are we reflecting upon what people in the existing school community think and feel about our actions, statements, and tone?
because if we aren't careful, if we aren't asking ourselves these questions and really being reflective about our own behaviors, rallying quickly leads to colonizing. And colonization is white supremacy on campus.
My kid is a good kid and he deserves that AP class. I'll text the principal.
I don't see much parent engagement here.
Craft Beer Silent Auction Gala last Saturday was so much fun.
Let's get all our kids into Miss Thompson's class next year. I'll text the principal.
My friend does an after-school musical theater program. I'll text the principal.
PTO is all us white parents. I don't know why the other parents won't join us.
We're working fast and furious to raise money.
I am not happy with the homework situation. I'll text the principal.
We have flyers out to the local preschools and mommy groups. We're recruiting the heck out of this neighborhood.
Translating meetings just take so long.
If this principal doesn't get it together soon, we are out of here.
With the too narrow definition of what a good school should be and how we interact with the school community, colonization quickly leads to white and/or privileged segregated schools in one way or another. A school can flip white and/or privileged. Either a school quickly becomes demographically white and/or privileged, or it begins to vibe that way, reflecting white and/or privileged ways of being, and/or we see classroom-level segregation. A school can look integrated from the outside, but be incredibly segregated on the inside. We also see situations in which white and/or privileged families leave or don't end up enrolling after all. The exodus causes massive disruption. Because of the effects of the toxic wake in situations like this, it might have been better if we hadn't tried at all. Integration can be messy and complicated, and while there's no one way to do it all right all the time, we know there are plenty of ways to do it wrong. We've had decades of attempts at desegregation, half-hearted as many may have been, and we are arguably more segregated today than before the Civil Rights Movement. It's time now to build a different kind of integration, one that starts from the ground up and one that takes equity and educational justice seriously. We need to build a constituency of parents who have skin in the game and who are ready to do the hard work of helping with our choices and our families to support the kind of world we want our kids to be adults in. If you're thinking about school integration, if you want to step in and step up, join us at integratedschools.org. We are a grassroots movement of, by, and for parents who are intentionally, joyfully, and humbly enrolling our children in integrating schools.